You are listening to The Real Estate Ride. Make sure to subscribe and enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Ride podcast.
I'm Annie Adkins, and my husband,
Jay,
who has his DJ radio.
that's my
voice.
DJ voice for you. Welcome back to the show.
This is the Real Estate Ride, the good, the bad, and the ugly of all things real estate.
Yes, and on today's episode, we're going to discuss hidden mistakes investors make flipping houses. Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. We have been flipping houses for,
15 years.
I was going to say it's even longer than that, technically,
We were buying rentals before that.
and doing flips before that. We were just living in them while we were
That's
doing,
called a slow flip.
which we do not suggest to maintain your married life and your sanity.
But that's not
Although
this episode.
that's another episode. We have done the slow flip. We have done the extremely long flip with one of our properties that is just having issue after issue after issue. We don't suggest that either. And then we've done numerous, and by numerous, I mean probably 12 or 15 flips a year.
That could be a hidden mistake that we can talk about that we made.
Yeah, true story. So we have done hundreds of flips at this point in our life.
Yes, between us and our students.
And we really enjoy doing flips because we like to take things that are not so pretty and turn them into something that's amazing for a first-time home buyer, which is the pocket that we work in. So
Yes, and we buy houses that usually you don't want to walk in, you don't want to smell them, you don't want to see them, you don't want to taste them, you don't want to touch them.
really hope no one's tasting anything that we've been in anyway. But
Don't eat the stuff left in the fridge, okay?
oh, that's gross. Anyway, we buy the ones that have foundation issues, that have caught on fire, that have had roofing issues, that have had massive floods.
19 cats and 17 dogs.
The normal investor or house buyer does not want them. That's what we buy.
We love
So-
them. Send them to us. We love them.
We've done these in multiple states with our students. We've done these in Ohio. We've done them in Florida. We've done them really, like I said,
Many
long-term,
places.
short-term, average. Our average turn time on a flip is 3 months
Yeah.
from start to finish.
Yep.
And sometimes it takes a little bit longer depending on the market. The Central Ohio market right now is just insane to me, which is crazy because everything else seems to be adjusting one way or the other.
Yeah. Yeah, the market here is hot, hot, hot. So, that's one thing, right? Know thy market. But that's another episode. But one of the mistakes I made in the beginning was I didn't really pay myself to work on the houses. We would buy them, I would fix them for free, and
Don't
then
do that.
we would get paid a chunk when we sold it. But that means you make a really good income, and then I couldn't do it in 90 days. It would take me 6 months to finish a house by myself.
Yeah, that's when only you were doing the work.
Yeah.
Solely Jay Adkins did
So,
all of the work.
To go 6 months with no check and then to get a big payday and then you don't get another check for 6 months. It's hard to make that money last for 6 months. So
With a family, right? Like we were doing this, or he was doing this when there were 5 of us. Now there are 6 of us. But
yeah,
even still, you have to be a really good money manager, live by a very strict budget to make 6 months
Yeah.
of anything work on one paycheck. So no
Right.
matter how big the paycheck was, and to be clear, I mean every flip we were making between $15,000 and $25,000, but
yeah, they were lower amounts then than they are now.
when you have to stretch that 15 or 25,000 for 6 months, and our kids' birthdays were in the summertime, and then you have Christmas and the holidays in the wintertime, it gets kind of crazy, or it can for the family that we had.
So if you are going to get in the flip business, make sure you pay yourself. Plus, you may get injured. You may break your legs. Now, who's going to do the work? and you don't have it in your budget for labor,
Then your house sits.
yeah, you might not make any money on that house now. And nobody wants to flip houses
For
for
free.
free. If you do, please reach out um in the comments, or, send me a message. I have a job for you.
So the first thing is one of the very first things that we learned was to pay yourself. So like Jay said, if you get injured and you only have, $500 for paint and you have to paint the entire house, clearly you're kind of screwed.
Yeah.
So it's not only to be able to earn a paycheck while you do it, it is to be able to cover anything that may or may not happen. If you have even one person helping you and you take that into consideration, then you are able to turn it even potentially faster than 6 months because you have more hands on deck.
Yeah.
So
Even better. That's why we built a team, because we got tired of waiting for me by myself to finish a house. And I thought, well, if we hire a small crew, they can get it done faster. And so they were turning them in 2 or 3 months.
and now that small crew has turned into 25 contractors and a construction company and doing outside bids and stuff for other people as well. But
Yeah.
we are not saying that that is what you need to do either.
No, but that leads to our second common hidden mistake that people make, and that is making sure that you have a full scope of work for what you want done to the house before you buy it.
Yes.
Like, initially how we do it is we go into a house, to do a full detailed scope of work on a house is normally at least 4 hours of work. So when you go look at properties, if you're trying to make 5 to 10 bids a week, you don't have time to do 4-hour estimates. So you kind of block it into chunks and figure out a close number and then make your offers. And then as it looks like you may go into contract, or you do go into contract, now you want to get back to that house right away and really get detailed and break down everything that you're going to do to it. And Annie can attest that you're going to make a scope of work that is your needs,
Right.
stuff you need to do, and you're going to have a list of stuff you want to do.
And then you're going to have a budget that fits somewhere in between.
And this comes into play big time if you have a partner.
Yes.
Because on my first flip, I had a money partner that came in and participated in selection of products. Okay. We were flipping a house in a first time home buyer range, and he opted to do travertine stone floor to ceiling in the entire bathroom, walls, shower, exterior shower, interior shower. I'm not kidding. It was like $9,000 in stone. That is called an over improvement.
Don't do that in a flip.
Yeah.
So that brings us to our next point. Don't do over improvements on things. What Jay and I do is when we have something that we're going to put a bid on, he runs comps because he's an agent, so he can access the MLS, see what's sold, see what's listed, see what's contingent upon and what it's contingent upon, and figure out what the price range for this house should be based on the comps. And then we go in and look at the pictures. So what kind of countertops do they have? Did they use tile in the bathrooms? Do they have floating floors? Do they have tile floors? Do they have wood floors? Do they have whatever finishes there are? And based on those finishes and how many bedrooms and bathrooms, it all comes together in that comp. So don't over improve for an area that has butcher block countertops and put granite or quartz or something along those lines in, because you're really not going to get the investment back out of that product. It still will look great with butcher block. It still will look great.
Yes.
Whatever the case may be. But just know that you're not going to put travertine tile or marble
Yes.
floors in a house that you're going to list for 125 to 130 or 210, which the 125, 130 is the price range that we used to dabble in.
Yes.
Now those prices are up to 210, 220. So you still don't want to over improve because you won't necessarily get that money out of it.
Yeah. And keep in mind too that your contractor will likely try to sell you stuff that you didn't have in your budget. And you just have to say, no, that's not in my budget.
Right.
Okay.
And then another thing that we look at when we're looking at deals is the neighborhood. We had a bunch of bird dogs that used to work for us. Bird dogs are people that would go out and scout for empty houses in the neighborhoods.
Yes.
And part of their detail on sending us a good deal was to send us pictures of the neighborhood because we flipped a house in a neighborhood locally and the house was great. We did comparable amenities and comparable products inside the house. It looked wonderful. And then on one instance, a sex offender moved in next door. And then in another instance, we lived by somebody that looked like Sanford and Son in the front yard.
It didn't look that way when we bought it.
Initially, correct.
So you have no way to know that.
Neither one of those things occurred when we owned the property initially, and when we
Right.
even put the work into the property. Those all occurred once the property was finished before we sold.
Yes. And that's why one of the important items is to have a contingency in your plan. So you have your needs and your wants. You're going to pick so many of your wants. You're going to pick all of your needs.
Correct.
And then so many of your wants that you're able to do. And
That fit within your budget.
Within your budget, right? And then you're going to have a little contingency, and that's for unknowns. So you should at least consider a 10 or 15% contingency for unknowns, and then you can build that into each line item. So if you normally put, $10,000 for kitchen cabinets and countertop, then you're going to put $11,000.
Or if you put in $2,500 for paint, then you put in $3,200 for paint.
Right.
Not that you're adding a bunch to one single solitary line item, but you have extra funds put into each one in case you tear open a wall. Ask us how we know.
Yes.
And it's clear full of mold.
Or termite.
Or termites. Or if you open up a floor and the beam or the floor joists are split in half for the same reason.
Yes.
Or whatever. There are numerous things that can happen. The attic is full of mold. The attic has no insulation. The list goes on and on and on, depending on the property that you're looking at and how disrepair it is.
Yeah.
Or disrepaired it is, or in disrepair.
Yeah. So it's important to get a few bids, in my opinion, on people who are going to supply you with work.
Absolutely.
You will get a wide variety of bids, and that also kind of tells you, depending on how their bid looks, depends on how detailed they are as a contractor.
Yeah.
If you get a piece of paper that says, I'm going to rehab your whole house and it's $50,000, you should probably run away.
Or at least ask multiple additional questions.
Yeah.
And that's another good point, with contractors and what to and to not do.
That's like a 10 episode series.
Exactly. But when you are making your bids or getting your bids, I should say, and like Jay said, if it's just lumped together, you want to be like, so if you're going to do this tile, do we have to pull up the existing floor? What's underneath that existing floor? Does it need to be vapor barriered? Does it need to be sistered in any way at floor joists? Can we use the existing floor as an additional pad for whatever we're putting down now? Like, those are additional follow-up questions because all of that stuff could potentially increase your budget costs.
Yeah. And having a scope of work on the job site is a big mistake that a lot of people make. They don't have a list for the contractors to follow. And if you don't give them a list to follow, they'll make their own list.
And they'll do whatever they think is necessary. For instance, we have this house that is this ongoing flip for multitudes of reasons in Columbus. And we had somebody come in and give us a bid for finishing the part that caught on fire, which is a whole nother story and episode as well. But this house is now going on an absorbent amount of time in a flip situation. We were 2 weeks away from having it listed and the kitchen caught on fire. So then we had to have somebody come in and price out redoing the main floor, basically, because it was all smoke damaged.
And the second.
And the second floor had some issues as well. And we had just put in this nice penny floor in this half bath, brand new penny floor. And yes, I mean pennies, like US pennies on the floor. And they're like, well, we'll just rip that out and put this down. And I'm like, oh no, you're not ripping.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not part of the scope. This is the only things that we need you to focus on are these. And gave them the list.
Yeah. They're like, well, we should cover up this brick and we should do that. And no,
we're not doing any of that.
we gave you the scope of work. That's what's going on.
So
Okay.
to recap, one more thing that a lot of people don't take into a consideration is staging money. We stage all of our flips mainly because if there's something that looks like, man, I don't know that room will even fit a twin bed.
Or a queen.
Or a queen bed or a full, then we put in something, depending on what that is. So we have a house that was on the market for 2 days, our most recent flip. And there is a room that it's a little wonky, just with the cutout that's there and the setback. So we put a desk in the setback and a twin day bed in there and then another dresser so that clearly you could see there are options for that space as a bedroom, as an office, whatever the case may be. It also was a little wonky as far as a layout for an eat-in kitchen or dining room space. So we staged it with the dining room table and living room furniture to ensure that, you have enough room for both. And this is what it could look like, or you can do some kind of configuration of sorts with this amount of furniture in that space. So be sure to include some staging furniture pricing. We rent those from Rent-A-Center or Aaron's or a local rent-to-own place.
Or we own some.
Or we own some.
So we do a combination of those different options.
Yeah. So staging furniture, if you are or are not going to use it, and some houses you don't need it. I mean, it's just pretty cut and dry in some houses that, this is the dining room, this is the living room, this is the bedroom.
But we stage it anyway because we are firm believers that the house shows better. They can actually visualize themselves sitting there, hanging out, being in the living room or being in the dining room.
Yeah, in our experience, houses, I haven't really timed it in all honesty, but I would say houses that aren't staged sit for at least a week.
Or two
before we get an offer, and houses that are staged sit for a couple of days max before we get an offer.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to do our little own study on that maybe for a year and see.
Yeah. Well, we had one that we had no staging furniture available at the time. And it sat 2 weeks, and we ended up staging it. We lowered the price $100, and then we got multiple offers on it. It's wild.
It's weird, but and it really depends on the area too. Some people that we work with and in our coaching group say that they don't have to stage anything, and some people say that that's all they do is stage everything. So, and we've kind of done it, like you said, a little bit back and forth in Ohio, and it works regardless.
There's virtual staging options too.
Right.
If you want to reduce expense and you don't want to pay someone to do all of that. But I still believe it's better if the furniture is in there because people shop initially online and then they decide to buy when they visit the property.
Right. And by staging, I mean, we do like hand towels in the kitchen and little knickknacks, utility, a utensil holder and things like that. Some towels in the bathroom, nothing like a shower curtain in the bathroom, a love seat, a couch, or a couch and chair. And then potentially we always stage the owner's suite or owner's bedroom, depending on the house.
Yeah. And then
sometimes we add more, sometimes we don't.
Right. And then you want to have some of your wants available to be modified or some of your line items. Okay. So you may run into something that costs more money. Like we did one, we had to add we replaced some electrical lines and we had to do some arc fault breakers. And then there was a gas line leak. So we fixed the gas line leak. And instead of replacing the back door, we just painted it. So, that moved that line item over to the new line item. And then we also opted not to buy a refrigerator.
Yeah, I mean, with listings, that's a good point. You don't always have to supply the appliances. You can offer or have your agent offer an appliance package at closing.
Or you can offer nothing.
Or you can offer nothing. We've done it all three ways. We've provided them, we've offered an appliance package at closing, and we've not provided them, and they sell all the same. I feel like some buyers don't care and want to pick their own stuff. Some don't care and bring their stuff from their other house. I mean, it just depends on the person and the situation.
Yeah, and it's better to have no refrigerator than a junky looking one.
Right. But at the same time, you can get some really good used appliances off of Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
And buy here, pay here kind of places.
$300 to $500 and
even rental
$1,000 to $2,000.
So, again, just kind of look at what the other listings are for, or not for. Well, what they are for, price wise, what they're doing, finishing wise, what they're providing, amenity wise, and then the area in which it is. There are a lot of people that do flips in rental neighborhoods and then wonder why they're not selling. That's kind of it in a nutshell. They're not selling because it's not a sales neighborhood, it's a rental neighborhood. So you're not going after the first time home buyers or a homeowner, you're going after a landlord or an investor, which
we've found like a 50-50 blend is good for flips. If it's heavily on the rental side, like 70% or more, probably not the best neighborhood to do a flip in.
Yep. So, yeah, that is like the top 10, I feel like.
Yeah.
Kind of gone over 10 things. So, paying yourself or paying somebody else in your budget so that you have the money to do so. Having a full scope before you start the project of your needs and your wants, and then be willing to adjust if necessary. Getting pricing for those bids beforehand, detailed pricing, so that hey, this is our budget, but can we paint the vanity instead of buying a new one? If you run into things, can we do a surround instead of buying tile? Can we paint the existing tile instead of replacing it? Things like that. Having contingency money built into your breakdown as well, so that in case something happens, check your neighborhoods, see what you have going on in the neighborhood.
Yes.
Having modifications ready, like I said, if I can't do this, can I paint the vanity? Can I paint the tile? Can I use the existing flooring as padding instead of having to buy padding for under laminate? There's multitudes of things that you can do. And then be sure to include staging money if that's something that your area does.
Yep.
So I guess that's one more episode down. Whoop, whoop. Hope that we helped in some way, shape, or form. And if you have any additional questions, feel free to reach out to us. Oh, my goodness. Feel free to reach out to us on social media or via email.
Or if you need a second or third bid in Central Ohio, give us a call. We'll have our construction project managers come out and give you a bid on your next flip.
Absolutely. This has been the Real Estate Ride.
We'll see you next time. Hey everybody, it's Jay.
This is Annie.
We are so grateful for you joining us on our podcast and listening in and participating. We want to offer you this additional free bonus, and that is joining our Facebook group.
Yes, where we will have other individuals, not just us, but having conversations on all things real estate, and we would love to have you join us. So just click the link below and head on over and join our group.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on the other side.